Well, the number of cases of coronavirus continues to rise right across this country, and there is another big jump in Ontario. Right now, 22 new cases announced today. That brings the total in Ontario to 101. British Columbia now reporting another 9 people with coronavirus. That brings the number of cases there to 73. Alberta has 6 new cases. That brings the provincial total to 29. Quebec, meanwhile, has 21. Manitoba has 4. New Brunswick now has 1 confirmed and 1 presumptive. And just today, PEI announced its first confirmed case of the coronavirus. There are also 2 presumptive cases in Saskatchewan. And we also had an update from health authorities in British Columbia in the last hour. They announced the new confirmed cases, also provided some extra information about how they're managing the spread of the virus. Tina Lovegreen has been following this story for us throughout this whole crisis. So Tina, nice to see you here. What exactly stood out for you when you were listening to BC health officials?
Well, as you mentioned, there are 9 new cases announced today, bringing BC's total up to 73. 2 of those cases are in the Interior Health region, and they're associated to travel outside of Canada, travel to Europe. Now, here's the thing. The Lynn Valley Care Centre, where we recorded Canada's first fatality relating to COVID-19, have now gone up to 4 residents testing positive and 12 staff also testing positive for the virus. Now, more testing is being done, and Dr. Bonnie Henry, BC's provincial health officer, says that that's not necessarily surprising. They did expect that, and they also expect the numbers to continue going up as they do more testing. Now, Michael, there's another long-term care home that has had an outbreak, Hollyburn House in West Vancouver. No new cases reported there, still at 1 staff and 1 resident. And at Lionsgate Hospital, there have been 3 people in administrative roles who have tested positive, and we knew that from yesterday now. So there's been a lot of questions here in Vancouver about testing, people wanting to get tested if they have symptoms. Now, Dr. Henry says that even if you have mild symptoms, they're not going to test you for the virus. They're saving those tests for people who really need it. Have a listen.
The focus will be on ensuring that we will continue to test people in active investigations and cluster outbreaks, because that's how we determine how this virus is spreading in our community. Healthcare workers, importantly, people who are in hospital and we need to understand what is causing their illness, or people who have more severe illness, and people in long-term care homes. That's the focus for the testing right now.
So the message still remains, if you think you have symptoms, or if you have traveled outside of Canada and are returning to BC, to self-monitor, to self-isolate, and for 14 days, but no testing unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. You know, it was interesting listening to Dr. Bonnie Henry there, because while she talked about these new cases and the testing, she also brought up a matter that's being discussed quite widely on social media, and that is this phenomenon of people stockpiling supplies.
Certainly, and I mean, I can tell you, I went to 2 different stores yesterday, and it was the same thing. Hand sanitizer, almost impossible to find here in BC. Toilet paper, canned goods, so difficult to find. You might need to go to several stores to be able to find those goods. But the health minister, again, reassuring people that retailers have told them there is enough supply.
There are not shortages. The supply chains are strong. And we have to try as best as possible to revert to normal practice with respect to buying supplies in grocery stores and other places. This is a clear message from the industry and from the government of British Columbia.
So again, there's absolutely no need to buy more than you need. The message from health officials is to practice social distancing that we've heard about over the past few days. And here at the Vancouver Convention Centre on a sunny Saturday, I can tell you it's filled with people and it's quite empty. So hopefully people are getting that message. Michael?
Okay, Tina, thank you for that. Tina